Hi, I'm Chai, which is short for Shilova, my birth given name. And the reason why I'm here is because over the last year I embarked on a journey, on a fitness journey, on a weight loss journey, however you prefer to call it. And I was successful, so I thought that I could bring some of my lessons learned to share with whomever might find this information valuable. I named my channel Life of Chai because this is me sharing a little part of my life, and I took inspiration from the movie and book Life of Pi. Not that I have any particular connection with that movie, but I just thought it was a fun name for the channel, especially because I'm shy. So it is, for whoever knows me, it's very unlikely that I would ever stand in front of a camera doing this type of thing, but here I am. I think the concept of weight is very subjective. I would say that a year ago I probably didn't fit into the workbook definition of an overweight person. Looking at my images from a year ago, I wouldn't say that I fit in the overweight category, but I definitely was a little chunky and I wasn't happy with how I was looking. I don't know how many pounds, kilos I lost over the last year. I never had in mind a number, I had in mind an image. I just know that I probably did lose some weight, especially looking into my clothes. I didn't have a scale in my house. I don't have a scale to this day because scales would make me depressed because I was so fixated in a certain weight that I used to have at a different time, and I don't know, I think that caused more harm than good. So I haven't had a scale in years in my house. I also have to say that I believe that my results were the combination of two things: workout and the changing of my eating habits. I don't know which one worked more, but I started both at the same time, and I think both were beneficial. But I'm not a professional, I'm not a personal trainer, I'm not a nutritionist, so even though my videos will revolve around these two subjects, whenever possible, consult a professional that will give you more appropriate guidance. So what motivated my journey? The first thing is that I was really unhappy with myself, it's beyond my physical image. I was really, I guess, down physically, but also emotionally. So I definitely knew that I needed to work on myself, and yeah, I finally got the guts to do that last year. I had kind of let myself down and kind of let myself go, and was stuck in this snowball of being very sedentary and having not so recommendable eating habits, and one thing led to the other. So I would not do any physical activity and did whatever, and would not be happy with my body, which would lead me to be more sedentary and eat more emotionally. So yeah, it definitely was a snowball that I needed to break myself out of. Another factor that I think contributed to my unhappiness with my body, or to the state of where my body was last year, was the fact that I was aging and didn't realize that I was aging, if that makes sense. So to anyone who's in their 20s or like is a teenager, I don't think many teenagers or 20-something-year-olds will land in this video, but if you are there and you can eat whatever and don't really have to work out, I hope this doesn't happen to you, but with me it happened. So basically after 30, my body metabolism slowed down, and I didn't acknowledge that. So I would eat so recklessly, and I didn't integrate in my day-to-day a routine of working out, because it's more than the aesthetic aspect to working out. It's more than wanting to look good. It's important health-wise, and I didn't change anything in my habits. I think I even worsened. So yeah, the non-recognition of the aging factor definitely was detrimental to me. I also think that COVID-19 confinement was another catalyst for my weight gain. Of course, the emotional aspect was overwhelming. Like, we were living during a period of high uncertainties, where there was this virus in the world that we didn't like, was killing people, and we didn't really know what was going to do for humanity. So the emotional stress of the COVID itself was affecting me, and also the fact that we were confined for so long. Like, I didn't have any habit of going to the gym, but I would have a routine of getting out of the house. And even if you don't notice, like, the movement of getting ready and going out and walking, etc., it just brought some level of mobility into my life that I suddenly lost. I was even more sedentary than I was before. And taking back to this emotional part of the confinement, like, it just triggered in me some cravings. So I was in the house, I was bored, so I would order a lot of food from outside, more than I would go to a restaurant before the confinement. Because of the stress, I have to make a disclaimer here. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't have any drug or alcohol dependence problem. But I just, because of, like, I needed to relax so badly, and I felt like I deserved the treat because I was taking care of my household. I don't have any children, but I'm married. I was taking care of not only my husband, but my sister who was living with us at the time, my father-in-law who was living with us at the time. So I kind of had all these three people on me, and I had to make sure that everyone was all right. So I had the stress of work. There was this virus around, and I had to take care of everyone in the house. So at the end of the day, I kind of felt that, like, I deserved a treat, and I would just drink a glass of wine, and yeah, the accumulation of that wasn't great for me, let me tell you that. There are probably other factors that I'm just leaving out, but I think it's an important exercise that you do to, if you're unhappy with where you are in terms of body image, it's important that you do to pinpoint that there are probably other reasons other than yourself. Like, I feel like we put too much pressure on ourselves, and sometimes there is a wider context that we need to take into account and not be so harsh on ourselves. But I have to say that my journey started long before last year, at least my mental journey, because I've wanted to make this change. I've been wanting to make this change for the longest time, but I just didn't have the right mindset. I have to make another disclaimer. I don't have any magic potion, so if you clicked on this video thinking that I hold the secret to fast weight loss, you're wrong. This is not this kind of video. I don't believe in that. Like, I've done some really crazy things. I have tried the apple cider vinegar diet, and that's disgusting. Don't do that. Please don't do that. And it doesn't work really. So yeah, this is not that kind of video. I also don't have any workout routine that you will do like in 2 weeks you will lose 10 kilos and will be completely ripped. No. This is not what I'm trying to share here. What I'm going to share are the steps that I took over the course of a year to reshape my body. it took me a year. So it's consistent changes, not quick weight loss tips. No, that's not me. I'm going to share some mindset related tips as well as some practical ones, because I believe it's the combination of these two that made my journey successful, and I think will continue to take me ahead in this journey. I won't stop here. So let's get straight to the point, to the mindset. The first thing that you need to ask yourself, if you are having this internal dialogue with yourself about changing your image, changing your body, getting more fit, getting more toned, losing some weight, whatever your goal is are you ready? And here I ask you, are you ready? Is your answer yes? Is your answer yes but? Is your answer no? Is it a convict yes? If it's a convict yes, then you are ready. I think the most important thing in this entire journey is your mindset, and you definitely have to be ready. Otherwise, all it will take is probably 2 weeks and you will give up just because you're not there yet. So, are you ready? The second tip that I'm going to give you is to be consistent. And what does consistency mean to me? Consistency to me means that you should prioritize a set of habits that are going to work in your favor in the long run. And what are those set of habits? It's the combination of two things: working out and eating better, or eating more responsibly. So be consistent. The third mindset tip that I will give you is that you shouldn't be too hard on yourself. You're going to slip, you're going to fail, either for internal reasons or by the circumstances of your life. Sometimes your work will overpower your time and you won't have the time to do the workouts that you usually do, but don't be too hard on yourself. It's completely acceptable to sleep. I'm gonna tell you that today was leg day for me, but I didn't work out because I'm not feeling great, and I wasn't feeling great in the morning, and I wasn't there. But tomorrow, hopefully, I'm gonna pick up to where I was, and next week I'm going to be more consistent with my workouts. But I'm not here beating myself up over the fact that for one day I didn't work out. So please don't be too hard on yourself. These were my 3 mindset related tips. But now moving on to more practical tips. The first one, I would say that you should start slowly. And just give you an example. When I was a teenager, I was very active. My school had this really good program that revolved around physical activity. So I didn't only have the mandatory classes, but there were tons of tournaments that I would participate in, and I was a part of the I was a part of the gymnastics class. We had military instruction. It was a military school, so there was a lot that would keep us busy. And I loved that part of the school, and I was always participating in tournaments for this and that. But the moment I left that school, I never worked out again. Not consistently, but I would feel like I was getting more softer in certain areas, or that my endurance wasn't the same. So I would just enroll in a gym and go there for, 3 months, whatever. But I hate gyms, but we're not going to discuss that today. But I would quit eventually. If I had engaged in an activity right after school, if I had consistently done exercises, probably last year I would start with something harder than what I did. I started with 7-minute workouts, and looking back, those workouts are pretty easy, but they were challenging for me. They were really challenging, and even though I knew that there was way behind what I knew I could do, taking into account my history with physical activity, that was what I could handle in that moment, and it was challenging for me. So by saying that you should start slowly, I'm saying that do something that you know you can handle, but it's still challenging. It's still going to make you sweat. Because if you don't, if you start with something really at a high level of like really demanding in terms of effort, in terms of strength, in terms of resistance, I think that's a trap. You're not gonna want to do that the next day and the next day and the next day. So yeah, start slowly, but keep your eye on the prize. I would start with the 7-minute exercise, like eyeing the 18-minute exercise, and while that I would eye the 30-minute exercise. So each phase was a preparation for the next, and whenever something wasn't challenging anymore, I would move on to the next, which was really hard in the beginning, but then eventually it would just stop being that demanding. So start slowly and take gradual steps to more and more challenging routines. Tip number 2 is that you should choose a genre that you like, because why, if we're talking about physical effort, why would you do something that you hate? Like I was saying, I hate going to the gym. Why would I do that to myself? So last year I discovered an entire world of home workouts, and I discovered this type of exercise called calisthenics, which I had seen, but I couldn't put a name to what I was seeing. And it's essentially body weight exercises. Yeah, it's something that doesn't require you to leave the home, doesn't require that whole lot of equipment, at least for a beginning level. I still consider myself a beginner, but what I'm trying to say is that I identify with calisthenics and I don't hate the gym, so it was perfect for me because I could do it from my house. But if you like to walk, if you like to walk, if you like to run, if you like to hike, if you like going to the gym, go to the gym, but choose something that you like, because that will be easier for you to be consistent with something that you can connect to. Because we're talking about physical activity, it's always kind of hard to do, but if we're doing something that we like, it's easier to like pick yourself up and go to the gym and go and run and go take a walk. My final practical advice is that you should definitely think in advance in what you're going to eat, because I think a lot of my mistakes came from that. I would eat whatever, whenever, because I didn't care. But with a little studying and a little more discipline, I realized that it's not that hard to create like certain rules, and there are some pretty easy meals to cook. So yeah, these days I definitely plan what I'm going to eat, not in a very neurotic way. I'm not neurotic with anything. I'm not very organized, to be honest, but I kind of know what kind of food that I'm going to eat. Not that I plan Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. No, I just know that I need to have some fish. I need to have some meat. I'm not gonna eat rice every day. So I try to have a variety of different options in my house that are a pool of good decisions, basically, instead of eating fast food whenever I wanted to eat. And if I just splurge a little bit on my lunch, like in terms of like eat fast food, then I would plan the dinner. Okay, dinner, I have to be more careful because I cannot fall into this routine again of eating whatever, whenever. I'm just more mindful with the way that I organize my So this is it for video 1. I'll take a deeper dive in 2 upcoming videos, one on food and another on workouts. I didn't want to include everything in this video, otherwise it would have been much longer than what it already is. Yeah, it's pretty long. I'll just remind you that this journey that I took was over a year, so have in mind that you cannot change sustainably based on something that you've done instantly. Of course, you can do that if you go to a surgeon, like a plastic surgeon, but if you want to do it if you want to change your body sustainably, patience is key. And essentially what I've mentioned is basically changing your habits, your physical exercise habits and your eating habits. That's it. There's no more secret. All I'm gonna say will be around that subject. And last but not least, never forget to not be so hard on yourself. This journey, even though it's doable, I know it's not easy, so baby steps. Try to be consistent as much as you can, but whenever you fail, don't take that as like you're like that. Just have in mind that we're allowed to fail sometimes. And yeah, the world is already too hard on ourselves, so we shouldn't be that hard on ourselves too. If you have a question, please drop a comment below. I hope to see you here soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.